Well, welcome to another Andy's Shed. Today, another video in the Raptor Pro versus MetroX series that I've been doing. Today we're going to focus on the software. What's the differences between Revoscan and CrealityScan, where one is better, where one is deficient, and you'll see for yourself. Because hardware is, it's one thing. Hardware's great, but without good software, it's not a good solution. But both of these have decent software that works, but you'll see what the differences are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a scan of an object. We'll take the scan. I'm not going to show you the scanning because you've already seen that and it's boring. So we'll take a scan of the object. With both scanners, we're going to take 2 scans so that we can test merging. We're going to scan in laser mode, cross lines, marker tracking. You'll see it all. This video is going to be mostly looking at screen recordings of my scanning rig, but you'll see. Okay, let's get to it. Right, so when we launch Revoscan, and you can see we're using 5.6.7 for MetroX at the minute. We have a nice screen with all of our initial projects, well, all of our projects that I've done so far, so you can see some of these there, plus calibration stuff, some really good learning videos, and I haven't got MetroX connected yet, but when I do, it will pop up there. Where's my MetroX? There it is. And there's the scanner. So the first thing we would do in Revoscan is a new project. Let's give it a name. Let's call it test. And then that takes us straight into the scanning screen, which at first glance looks pretty complicated, but it's actually pretty straightforward. So up here we can choose between the interface for a marker scan or a feature scan. For this we're going to be doing a marker scan, so we have our depth and laser brightness controls here. We can put them on automatic or take them off automatic. This little M is telling me which one the button on the back is controlling. If I press that one, oops, no, I haven't got it configured. So what we can do is, if we go to preferences, so where it says scanners M key settings, I'm going to switch that between toggling the exposure because I find that much more useful than default. So we'll press that. We can go between laser brightness and depth exposure, and we can crank that up and down with the buttons on the back, which makes things nice and easy. All of this stuff up here is all grayed out at the minute because these are the controls for once we have a scan. Over here, target point distance. Now, this doesn't actually have any effect on the quality of the scan. It just it has an effect on how Revoscan presents the information to you. So if you put a target point distance of, say, the minimum, like 0.15, the object won't go green, indicating that you have captured enough points until it's confident that you've got the points at 0.15. If we stick it up at 2 millimeters, it's going to go green almost immediately because as far as it's concerned, if it gets enough data to make it 2 millimeters, brilliant, done. So what I tend to do is just leave that on the default, which is 30.3 millimeters, sorry. So scan modes here. Now you'll see, because this is a marker tracking, we have access to all 4 of the modes that the MetroX can do. So full field, cross lines, parallel lines, auto turntable. If we were in feature scan, that would only show us full field and auto turntable. So tracking, we can have marker tracking, global marker tracking. Now global marker tracking is extremely useful because we can take a scan of our markers before we scan, and then it doesn't matter if a marker becomes obscured by the object, the scanner still knows that marker is there. For this demonstration, we're just going to use normal marker tracking. And then object type, black object, metallic shiny. This has an effect on the gain of both the laser brightness and how sensitive the laser is. For the detectors are. So for this though, we're just going to leave it on a general object. Scanning distance, you can restrict what it's going to scan, so the distances, how far away. It's kind of useful if you've got a lot of stuff behind the object like I do here. You can reduce that, and I mean, in fact, if I just bring that up here, although it's going to be difficult to show it in this mode, but basically we can make it ignore stuff that's behind. So that's Revoscan. Let's go over to CrealityScan. Now, one of the weird things with CrealityScan is it requires administrator rights every time you launch it, which is kind of irritating, and means it's not really usable in places like schools and stuff where students can't have administrator rights for their devices, their laptops or whatever, school devices. Right, so similar kind of front end once with CrealityScan. This is CrealityScan 4 at time of recording. 1.0.3 is the newest version. This replaces CrealityScan 3, which I quite liked. This new software seems to have similar features. It has some changes I don't particularly like, but we'll get to those in a second. So, yeah, so we've got user guides and all that jazz, usual good stuff, and we can hit new project, and we'll give this one a name, test as well, and then we end up with a scanning screen. Less stuff going on here. So we can be in blue laser mode or infrared mode. Infrared is the NIR mode, which is not really worth using on Raptor Pro. So scan mode is where we choose whether we're going to run in global marker mode or just normal scanning mode. So in this scenario, we're going to run in point cloud. I'm not going to go through global markers for this. It is extremely useful, but for this demonstration, it's not something I want to get into. Real-time resolution. Now this is the same deal as the MetroX's one. It is the resolution of what is displayed in this screen. So laser mode, cross lines. Now interestingly with Raptor we can do color mapping at the same time as a laser scan. That's something we cannot do with MetroX, but that's not, I mean, I guess it's useful if you're looking to capture textures or something. However, I'd probably look at a different scanner for that, because the color maps that it creates are not, it's not brilliant. And then we can just go straight into preview mode, and that's where we start getting our scan. So we have this color chart here which tells us whether we're too far or too close or whatever, and again, like MetroX, like Revoscan, we've got the scanning range here as well, and we can start a scan with that. With CrealityScan, we want the object to go blue. Now, I'm not sure why they switched away from green with this. Green to me seems to line up better with the red, green, blue sort of thingy we have here that tells us our range. Having it switched to blue confused me a little bit at the first time I used the new version of CrealityScan. I mean, I suppose it doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. Just for me, I found for me, green good, red, brown bad, whereas blue good, red, brown bad. It's not as easy to see, but it is what it is. So as we're scanning with MetroX here, we're sort of painting the object with light, as you've seen in previous videos, and we want the object to be bright green. Brown means it's got some data, but it's not particularly accurate, and bright green means data's good, and we're good to go. So we're going to take 6,000 frames approximately for this. I'm not looking for the best scan in the world here. This is just a means to an end. Right, so we've got our data in, and as we saw before, so workflow is different between MetroX and CrealityScan and Revoscan. In Revoscan, we scan, fuse, remove bogus data, clean up, mesh. With CrealityScan, we scan, remove bogus data, fuse, clean up, mesh. So the removal of the bogus data is reversed between the two. So, right, so we're in our scanned data section here. Now we've got two scans here, and we're looking at Revoscan at the minute, of course. We've got a load of data we're not interested in, but we'll fuse it first and then we'll get rid of it. Now we have this one-click business up here. Now it's, I mean, if you just want to get a result out of it, it'll go through the whole shebang and just generate you a 3D model. Kind of good, but also you don't have any control over what it's doing. It's kind of just click and pray. Usually does a very good job, but for this video I want to show you what we're doing. So first thing we're going to do is fuse it, and we picked it up at it's recommending 0.19, so we'll fuse it at 0.2, which is a nice round number, and we'll hit apply. That's going to fuse. Let's go over to CrealityScan while that is fusing and just edit this data here for a second. Right, so as I said, with CrealityScan we remove the bogus information we're not interested in first. I do find the movement of this camera to be quite janky with CrealityScan. It's not particularly user friendly. So let's get rid of that. Now with CrealityScan, we have a couple of tools that we can use for selecting this stuff. We have a rectangle and we have a lasso. We go to the lasso here. Lasso is just like you would expect it to be. You know, you can just sort of swing it around like that and delete it. I find for getting rid of large quantities of data, the rectangle is by far and away the fastest. So let's get rid of that. Let's get in here. Put a load of data there. Rid of that. Okay, that's better. Right, probably going to need to get in here with the lasso now. So let's take that. This is not particularly easy with a touchpad. My mouse has broken there. Right, let's get rid of that. And we've got a bit here. Let's get rid of this. There we go. Right, so it looks like what we want. So that's good. Now, I would have expected the Fusion button to be under the Process tab, but it's not. It took me a little while to find this. I thought it was forcing me down the one-click process, you know, click and pray route, but for some reason Fusion is under Scan rather than Process. Not really sure why that is the case. I would have put it under Process, but okay. So let's fuse that. So we're going to give this one 0.2, just like the MetroX. This one here is equivalent to the smoothing in MetroX. It's how confident am I in the point cloud. If we say that, it says the higher the noise reduction level, the more points can be retained. What it's saying is that if I have 100% confidence or in my point cloud, then I will retain all of my points. Now I'm going to say I've got a 50% confidence in it. 49. There we go. Don't need to remove the markers because, well, we can remove them because we don't have markers on the object. Ultra detail here just enables us to turn this here down lower. But for the sake of comparison, we're doing both at 0.2, so it doesn't really matter. Right, so apply on that. While that one's doing that, let's go back to Revoscan, and there we go. We've now got a fused thing. Let's get rid of some data. Now, we have a bunch of tools here which are extremely useful, whereas in CrealityScan we only had square and lasso. We've got several here which are good. One of the things I like especially is this one, which is plane cut. It just for getting rid of large quantities of data, extremely useful. And we have our this one here, which is actually my favorite tool. See, navigation around this is it's weird. Revoscan seems to go, when I rotate the model, it seems to go where I expect it to go, whereas CrealityScan does something odd, and I can't put my finger on what it is yet. This is my favorite tool. This is the polygon tool. Works just like you would expect. Whoops. Let's nope, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Get rid of some of this and that and that. I much prefer the polygon tool to lasso. It enables me to be, well, I want to say more accurate, but it's not really. Let's get rid of that. There we go. All of that can go. Bye-bye. Right, good. Now, one thing that's kind of cool with Revoscan that you cannot do with CrealityScan is, with CrealityScan, once you've fused it, well, you're pretty much done. There's you know, I can delete the model. I can't delete the point cloud. I can't delete any of this. All I can do is I can continue scanning. I can delete it. I can rename it. That's pretty much it. So if I've made a mistake, well, I'm stuffed. I've got to go back to and scan it again. Whereas with Revoscan, I can come here and hit delete all edits, and that will take me straight back to exactly the data as it was as scanned. That has saved my life more than one time while I've been doing a professional job with this stuff. It saved me a ton of time. It's a feature that I would very much like to see in CrealityScan. Right, so we now have in MetroX, oops, I need to fuse that one as well. Let's fuse that. Same deal. There we go. I already fused the other one in CrealityScan, so let's just wait for this one to fuse. I'm not going to make you watch all of this, so we will spin on. Back in Revoscan, we've got a number of tools up here. So isolation, what it's going to do is look for odd points, which are, you know, not really part of the scan, not joined to anything, and remove them. So there we go. Hit apply. That's got rid of those. We've also got another tool up here, overlap detection. What this is going to do is, if it's fused a bunch of points which are all like on top of each other, it will attempt to find those and remove them. So we can smooth and simplify here if we want. Now I prefer not to smooth and simplify my point cloud. I tend to save that for once I've meshed it. I guess, I mean, you can do it. It's just for the type of stuff that I do, I want my mesh to be as accurate as possible, so I will fuse it, well, I will mesh it at the highest possible resolution based on my point cloud, and then simplify the mesh rather than smooth and simplify the point cloud. There's pros and cons to doing it either way, but yeah, I just do it that way. Over in CrealityScan, well, we can't do anything. There's no controls, no tools for that sort of stuff. So, which, yeah, not ideal. Right, let's go back to the other one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to merge these scans. Let me just do an isolation on this one. There we go, get rid of that, and an overlap detection. Right, so we're going to do a merge because we've got the one side of the dinosaur and we've got the other side of the dinosaur. So we'll come over here to merge, and there's lots of features on this one. Look, we've created a Star Trek transporter malfunction. So what we're going to do is a feature, and it's going to look at it and try and work out the different features. There's loads of features on this, so it shouldn't have any problems. And there we go, perfect. And then we can generate the model. And there we go. And you'll see that that is now as a separate point cloud now called merge 001. And there it is. And you can see that is now a full object. So it's a good idea to do an overlap detection on this as well. Just because it possibly will have created some overlapping points, and we'll do an isolation. And yep, that's looking good. So let's mesh it. Right, I generally like to make my grid size the same as my point distance, so We'll go 0.2, which is exactly the same as our point distance. We'll do automatic hole filling. That means if we've got any bits that we haven't got any data for, it'll have a go at filling that. And so we'll hit apply. So that's going to do that. Let's go over to CrealityScan and let's do the same thing. So there's one. Let's pull the other one up here, and there's our transporter accident. So we'll go to Process and we'll hit Alignment. We're going to do an auto alignment, same as Revoscan, and again loads of features. It shouldn't have any trouble with this, and indeed it doesn't. There we go. We now have the thing, and so we can hit exit. So we've now got those 2 point clouds. Now they're not joined as a separate point cloud, as they are just an alignment of the 2 clouds, which is interesting. I think I prefer Revoscan's way of doing it, where it actually generates me a new scan, because it enables me to go back to how I was before. But okay, let's mesh this. Now the information that CrealityScan presents to you is not particularly helpful. It's how many triangles. Well, I don't know how many triangles. Because if I have too many triangles, I'm basically inventing data. If I have too few triangles, then I'm removing actual data. Now, not telling me what the point pitch is of those triangles is not very helpful. I mean, 2 million triangles, great. I don't know. I guess that's good, is it? I don't know. How many did we end up with on on the Revoscan? So we ended up with 1 million polygons on that one. So let's do the same. To 1 million polygons. So again, we can do mesh smoothing, low, medium, high, or none. This boundary smoothing it doesn't really seem to do a huge amount. I've never really worked out what it's supposed to do. Remove isolated parts. This is basically the isolation detection, same as Revoscan, but it's all just under the mesh tool. Now remove spikes. This can get rid of like if you've got some random bits of data that you don't want that would create a spike in the mesh, it will remove that. And we're going to fill holes. So let's hit apply. That's meshing. Let's go back while that's doing that. Back to Revoscan. And again, we can fill additional holes if we want to. What this will do is it'll enable us to detect holes and then fill them. It appears to be watertight, so I'm not seeing any. I mean, we can run a detection on it, and it'll highlight. There we go. Hole detection failed. That doesn't mean that it's failed to do it. It just means that it didn't find any holes. So we can smooth it, isolate it, or we can simplify it. So I think we'll simplify it down to, I don't know, 40%. And that's just going to remove some of the polygons. And let's see what that comes out with. There we go, we're down to 600,000 polygons now, which is a perfectly reasonable number for a scan of this type. And then we can export it. Now we'll export the mesh, shall we? Let's dump it in my downloads, and we'll call it Dino MetroX. There we go. That's exported that. So that's the entire workflow done on Revoscan. So let's save that and quit that. Right. So back into CrealityScan, we have our watertight mesh, and again, I mean, we can edit it. We can do mesh simplification here. Now this is quite useful in that it does actually tell me an approximate size. It'd be nice if Revoscan did that as well. Let's take that down to 600, the same as the other one. There we go. And so, okay, and we can do the smoothing and the hole filling same as before. So if we hit apply, again, we don't have any holes to fill, so it's done. So we can exit that. Now here's our final mesh. Now the annoying thing with this is as well is if I mesh this again, it overwrites that, which means I can't try different settings. But yeah, I mean the software is still young. So right, let's export that one, and we'll export it as apply, the same, stick it in the downloads and call it Dino Raptor. Save. Okay. Right. And let's have a look at. Should we have a look at the scans? Let's have a look at the scans in. Let's have a look at the scans in Mesh Lab. I like Mesh Lab. View. Get rid of the trackball. Let's open. MetroX. Let's put that over there. That. Open another Mesh Lab. Raptor 1. That. Oops. Right, so 2 scans, MetroX on the left, Raptor on the right. Pretty close, aren't they? I mean, there's very little in it. Let's just stick this on a radian scaling, because that will make it. It should pick up all of the detail if we do that. Radiance. There we go. So they're pretty close, aren't they? I mean, I think MetroX slightly sharper. Let's have a look at that text. I simplified the mesh, didn't I, on both of these? So, but there's nothing in it. A nice scan. So, conclusions. Both MetroX, sorry, not MetroX, both Revoscan and CrealityScan, they both do what they say on the tin. They both enable you to take a scan and produce data and export a model. However, I think what I'm really wanting to say with this is that I think Revoscan is just so much more feature complete than CrealityScan. CrealityScan, it works, it's fast, but it's missing so many features that I kind of want as a professional in order to give me more control over my scan. In fact, to the point that I've actually found myself exporting the point clouds from CrealityScan, importing them into Revoscan and doing my processing in Revoscan, the scans that I've taken with the Creality Raptor Pro. At the end of the day, though, if you are the kind of person that's just going to click one point scan, one click scan, they both do the job. I think the real plus point for me with Revoscan is its get out of jail buttons, its ability to roll back my edits, its ability to not overwrite data without giving me an option to go back to my original data. CrealityScan is very destructive in that when you do things, you know, there's no real way back. Your only way back is to scan the object again, and that to me is a bit of a, as a professional user, it's a bit of a problem for me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was interesting, or at least useful to you. If you want to see more of this sort of content, please click the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.